Hey, welcome to week 2 of Roadmap to Success. My name is Nick Edwards, and through this mastermind, we are guiding leaders to greater results.
And then today we're going to work through the process. What is this going to look like to actually get through success? And as we go through this roadmap to what? Roadmap to success, that I'm going to give you some of the curves in the road, some of the bumps in the road, some of the hurdles and construction that you're going to have to go through as you go through this process to get through this roadmap of success. So let's review a little bit about last week. We talked about roadmap to success is accomplishing the desired results. How do you know you're successful? You can only know you're successful if you clearly define what the results are that you are hoping to accomplish. If you don't know what that result is that you want, how do you know if you ever get there? So, Lisa, even you talking about, well, I had a couple new clients. I met with some other consultants. Part of that formula, we're going to talk about this X by Y through Z, right? I'm going to accomplish these financial goals by this date through marketing, meeting with other consultants, and making sure that I'm doing everything I can to get myself in front of people, right? Those kind of things. That's part of it, right? It's good. So, as we talked about last week, the X is those 2 or 3 economic goals. They have to be economic goals because to be in business, you got to have money, right? If there is no money, business comes to an end, right? So what are the economic goals? By a defined date. Why, or the Z is the why we exist. What problem in the world are we solving? So whether it's healthy meals, connecting coaches, whether it's construction or selling insurance or selling real estate or whatever you do, what problem are you solving in the world? People buy to solve problems. Not just to make their life better, sometimes it's to make it easier, sometimes it's to make it better, but it's solving a problem in their life. And when you can identify what problems people have, then you can begin solving their problems. And you offer something that's better for them, right? Making sure, here's our goals, here's our date, whether that's weekly, monthly, quarterly, yearly, not more than 2 years out. And then this is the formula. This is everything that we're going to build off. This is the foundation. People plus systems equal results. People plus systems equal results. If you do not like the results that you are currently getting, something needs to change with the people or the systems that you're currently running. So really the best example of this is everybody's favorite Dallas Cowboys, right? I mean, is there any greater example than that of you are getting the results of the system you're running? You have these people in place making these decisions for this system, and you're 1-2 or 1-3 or whatever they are on track for another 8-8 season. Go Cowboys, right? So, but is that not a clear example of what that is? Whether it's the Cowboys or the Cleveland Browns or whoever else you want to point to, or your current business. All right, so here's my question for you for today. First question. If you're online, I want to hear your answers. Paul's going to be sharing those with us. Which part of this equation will you struggle with the most? Which part do you think you'll struggle with the most? Systems. Okay. Why? Good. Okay. So when do you change systems? If you didn't hear him online, I said, when you change systems? He said, what? After you spend a lot of money, right? And then you go, I spent all this money to build this system. Oh, this isn't the system I want, so now I need to change again. You know, okay. Sometimes there needs to be a deadline of time. I'm going to try this product, this way of thinking for 6 months. It's not working. How do I go to the next one now? How do I know what the next one is? Buy new software, new process, or new system, right? Okay. So systems are software. I think that's a little bit of what you're talking about there, or marketing platform, or whatever that is. But it's so much more. It's even how we think about our systems, how we communicate. We're going to talk about some of these things tonight, and we're going to brainstorm and list them all out. Paul, you got somebody for us? Are you getting
Yes.
good audio?
Yeah. Roger Farrell came in and said people, and that they can be cheap and not a value, relationship, and quality system, and that I get bogged down and lost in the weeds.
Yeah, systems you can get bogged down in the weeds. I don't know about y'all, but I've just realized that people are stupid. Right? I mean, not y'all people, not us people, right? Some of those people way out there somewhere, right? Yeah, it can be very frustrating because they're rude, they're cruel, they're all about themselves, and you're going, I'm trying to do something for you, but we just live in a world of people are cruel because they live in chaos and they live in confusion with no clarity. And so we're going to talk more about that.
System, but trust in the system.
Oh,
Rather than seeing the systems. Or you're going to have the patience
okay.
to see the system.
That's really good.
It's trust the system. Give the right funding.
Yeah, it's the funding. It's trusting the system. Man, that's so many of my clients right now. We're talking about how much time do you spend working in your business versus working on your business? How much do you spend time in the weeds versus actually creating the systems that gain you time? Yeah, it's even what Roger was saying there. It's so many people, we get so caught up in all the just getting to the next that we can't actually build the system that gains us time. So the systems part, systems create time, and everybody knows that time equals money. So the better we are at creating systems, they actually create us more time. They create the ability for more money because we have more freedom to make better decisions with the right people to get better results, right? But if we're always living in the tyranny of the urgent, it makes it extremely difficult. Paul, you got anything else for us? All right. One of the things I wrote this last week is when we focus on, let me think about how I wrote this. When we focus on the immediate, we fail to focus on the most important. I'm going to say that again. When we focus on the immediate, we fail to focus on the most important. And so what I want us to do through this process is making sure that we're doing the things that give us the greatest rate of return. How do we focus on the most important things that move us forward? How do we focus on things that buy us time? If I spend 40 hours in the next 2 months building my systems, and it takes me a month or 2 months to spend 40 hours to build these systems, but over the rest of the year, it saves me 200 hours. Well, that's a great return on investment, right? But how do we build that time in? That's always a question. So when do I do that, Nick? Right? All right. So everybody's going to struggle in different places in this. You know what no one said? Is the results. And I would tell you, a lot of people struggle with results because they can't define the result they want. So they don't know the right people and they don't know the right system. Everything is, I told you when we first started, everything is about results. Define the results that you want, find the people and the systems to get that results. Make sense? All right. People, systems equal results. There it is. All right. You can scan that QR code, or you can on your phone, or you can go to slido.com, type in that number. And here's what we're going to do. We're going to take a few minutes. I want you to list when we're talking about people, system, results, list every type of person that's part of the system. So you would be part of it, a boss, whoever else, okay? Everybody, every role that you can think of that's part of the people that have to play a role for your success. So you can use the QR code to take you there and put it in, hit enter as many different things as you can. If you're online, make sure you start typing in some words there. They'll start popping up for us. Yeah, type in you or boss, hit enter, and they'll start populating for you. Nick, okay, thank you. Yes, I appreciate that. I'm part of the system, helping you get results. That really is, when I first started doing this, my first tag phrase, and I'm still in this process of how do I really narrow down who I am, what I want to be, what I want to be known for, and I talk about it all the time. Better is always better. That's kind of one of my taglines. But it started off with guiding leaders to greater results, and so that's what I want to do. I want to be results focused and guide leaders to greater results. All right, clients, coaches, hostess, uplines, other consultants, families, investors, career-oriented folks, pastors, good. The team, yeah. Keep going. We're going to take some pictures of these things. I want everybody to be able to have these. Families, business owners, leaders, movers, friends, spheres. If you said spheres, can you tell us what that means? Okay, just your circle of influence. All right, good. So when you start thinking about this, you have people from yourself, your family, right? Because your family is directly impacted by your business and what you do. You have bosses, leaders, you have people above you, you have people below you, you have people that are working as you met with some other consultants who are on the same line as you to be able to gain wisdom from. You have clients that, as Roger was talking about, can be very frustrating at times, right? You have people who are promoting your business for you. All these different components you talk about, coaches and uplines and directors, professional peers, critics. That's an important person that's part of the formula, right? Married and divorced. Someone tell me what that means? How? Okay. Okay, so for your success, making sure that your marketing is different to different people. Good. The more you are aware of your client and your potential clients, you create a solution to their problem. Good. We're going to get into that over the next couple of weeks. Event coordinators. What does that mean?
So, like if I do the farmers market, so my event coordinator is the one that does, that hits up the event. So,
okay. Coordinating with them, making sure that you're in line with their overall event. Okay. Do you see how there's a lot of contributing factors in this line? There's a lot, right? So some of them you have some control on if they get in your line. Who do you hire? How do you hire? How do you make sure you hire for value? How do you make sure that you introduce people to your teams that have the same core values, that are going the same direction of you? We're going to talk about this in the next couple of weeks. I'm going to give you a illustration of what does it mean to be aligned and how do you make sure that everybody's aligned. And alignment isn't just that we're all within this big sphere and we're kind of just going that way, but everyone is equally aligned. So we're going to talk more about that. Lots of contributing factors here, right? Okay, we're going to talk about all these things in the days ahead. All right, yes.
Here, John says leadership / management, project managers, pre-construction, field, site superintendents, accounting, business development, social media, and a safety coordinator.
All right. So from getting into a construction project, kind of the intro of it, all the way through, right? So all the way through that process of getting the bids, marketing, reaching out, all the way through construction, people on the ground, making sure everything's working right, making sure that you're working with the owners and the property managers to get those results that you want. Lots of factors. How do you connect with that many people? How do you speak that many people's language? How do you make sure that they are actually helping you to your success and they're not the anchor holding you down from your success, right? Lots of big things to think about. All right, systems. Here's the next question. You should be able to use that same code, be on there. It should pop up for you. This next question. List everything that you can think is part of a system. These lists that you're making, you're on Zoom with us, these lists that you're adding on, we're going to use your input to discuss this next week and what this really looks like and how we understand, we make sure all these different contributing factors are part of our discussion. Parameters, okay? What does parameters mean? Find end results, good. It's part of the system. Make sure you have a clear goal. Back office, social media, CRMs, strategies, teams, steps to goals. Good. Boundaries. Boundaries is an important part of good systems. If you don't control how far someone comes in, they will make that choice for you. Time management, absolutely. Someone said back office. Explain to us what back office means. Trainings, calendars.
Back office is to be your database, your CRMs,
Yep.
training back there. I know probably with real estate, y'all, that's where you send all of your paperwork and ready to clients.
I just want to make sure I don't want to guess of what something means. And that's what clarity is about, right? Define standards. Standards for how we run our business, trainings, calendars. Man, those are all really good answers. All incredibly important processes, right? Of making sure that our time management, our systems, our backend, our CRM are all optimized to give us the results, right? Everything is about the results. Okay, so are you part of a bigger real estate team? Okay, so working within a team, working as an individual, but also with a team. Danny, part of a larger organization, so he has his own within a larger. Some of you are brand new in the industry. You are owning a company. Your company is expanding. Maybe you hit $1 million for the first time this year. Maybe you hit 5. Maybe you're looking to hit 10. As you continue to grow, these systems become more and more important, right? Okay, so results. You just gave me, y'all couldn't see this, but Lisa just gave me like this ugly, like, look, like, oh my gosh, why are you doing this to us? Tell me what that is.
Like I told you last week, it's the goal, it's the fear of failing and not hitting that goal, not hitting those results that I want. Setting my expectations too high, where I know I can hit them, but I fear of failing. Yeah.
So one of the things we're going to talk about with under the people part is part of our training for people, part of our systems and people overlap is training. And one of the things that, like 3 of my companies that I'm working with right now are going to have record years. One's 22% up over last year, one's 28% up, one's going to be close to 20% up. I have people that are going to hit $7 million, $8 million for the first time. A company that we're hoping they're going to hit 80 million. And so going through this process, fear of failure isn't a problem. No, let me take that back. Failure is not the problem. Fear of failure slows you down from moving forward. And so we don't want to be afraid to fail. We want to fail fast. Fail fast. And what that means is, let's swing for the fences. And if we strike out, okay, well, why did I strike out? And what can we learn through that process? What can we get better at? Companies that are not going to hit their goals, I have one company, they set some outlandish goals. We're not going to hit them, but they're still going to break their records. Because they shot so high, they're going to hit here, and the old standard was here. That's okay if they didn't get here, but you were. That's right. Okay? All right. Why will this be difficult? Why is defining the results difficult for you? I don't see as many people typing right now. It's a little bit more difficult question, isn't it? Never done it before? That is a great answer. Lack of respect from spouse? I'll just say it. I have 3 companies right now that they are owned by a family, and we're working. I meet with both of them once a month, and then separate, and then both, and then separate, because they both need to work on the individual things. So along with that comes some marriage coaching, because that's part of the system, part of the people. Not consistent with the system? No joke. Yeah, that's, if you're not consistent, how can you get the results that you want? Never done it before. Man, this is a great answer. Nothing was done. Almost, I was going to make a political joke there. I'm not. I'm going to stop that. Everybody who went before you was the first. So I spoke to Forney High School football team a couple weeks ago. And we're talking about what is greatness and how do you achieve greatness. And part of achieving greatness is understanding what greatness looks like, but also understanding you are where you are because someone came before you. We talked about Warren Moon as the first black African-American NFL quarterback. And he was the player of the game for the Rose Bowl as a quarterback, did not get drafted, had to go to Canada. Everything has been done before. You just haven't done before. So learn from mentors. Find people who have been there and can help you. We're always chasing the answer because we do not know what will make us successful. Good. What makes you successful is you defining success. Listen, I'm never going to sell as many houses as Edison. You know why? Because that's not my goal. Right? And so if I let your standard be my answer, then I'm always going to fall short of that. So how do we make sure that I'm chasing what I desire from my business? I'm chasing after a goal that I've created. You have to work under bigger leadership that defines goals and creating your own goals and creating the balance in that, right? It's difficult to be able to manage. Here's what I found. When executive teams, I'm doing some work with an executive team, and I said, so what's the goal of the company? And there's 7 on the team. Well, we had like 17 different answers, which means we don't know. And anytime, let me give y'all a little information, just a little bit of nugget that you can hold on to. Anytime someone says, I think so, or I don't think we do that, they're lying to themselves. I think so is actually a defense mechanism that I know the right answer, I just don't want to tell you. So think about it, listen for it, and when you hear it, push into that. Tell me more there. Tell me more. What's that?
Somewhat.
Yeah, somewhat. Which means, I think we're about somewhere around 50%, which means you probably know you're at 20%, not at 50%, right? All right. All these great answers. I want you to be able to think through these, and we're going to build off this. I wanted to hear from you. I wanted you to really kind of expand what your thinking was for people, systems, and results. All right. Who said never done it before? Edison, never done it before, never been in real estate before, new adventure, doing it full time on your own, had other jobs doing it part time. Now, how do you do it full time, right? Anybody know the answer to this question? You know, put it online. What's the number one rule for success? Number one rule. No one can challenge me on this. It is a law. It is guaranteed. You can write it in concrete. Number one rule for success.
Roger says humility,
Humility,
curiosity.
curiosity. Go for it.
Starting.
You gotta get started. There is no success if you don't start. So what I want to do tonight is I want you to take you through this process. So we're talking about this roadmap from where you are to success. The definition that you have for success, okay? Next week, we're going to start building these components, but I'm going to tell you and let you know this is what the process is going to look like, okay? Number one rule for success is you got to get started. The process, you have to get started. Second thing I want you to hear, is dream big. Man, dream big. If you set tiny goals, you will achieve tiny results. And you will think, look how much I've accomplished. This is not talking about just your success goal of X, Y, Z. This is dreaming big. Dreaming big. How far can it go? See, John Maxwell talks about, so many people ask the question, how long will this take? It's the wrong question. The right question is, how far can it go? Not how long will it take, but how far can I go? How do I think about what will, I want to be clear. When we talk about setting success goals, and we talk about setting our destination, we're talking about short term. When I'm talking about dream big, I'm talking about 5, 10 years out. Think about what that would look like. How big could your ministry be in 5 years? I think John's on there, right? John owns a construction company. John, just thinking about where you were a year ago or 2 years ago, think about where you could be in 10 years from now. It's a little overwhelming, and it should be. It should be a little bit scary and a little bit exciting. But dream big. Why not? If you don't believe in you, why would anybody else believe in you? I mean, how cool would it be to have 3, 4, 5, 6, 10 people working under you? Right? That you get to be this leader, this equipping people, empowering people, and hiring people, giving them opportunities that you get to lead them. But if you think, oh, if I can just do $10,000 a year for the next 10 years, that's good enough. That's right, good. But the people are going to make you work harder. The system's going to make you work harder to get those results. But dream big, go for it. If you don't dream big, then what are you fighting for? Your dreams should be so big they scare you a little bit. I was in Orlando, Florida 3 years ago at the John Maxwell conference as part of my certification to become part of the John Maxwell leadership team. And he's speaking, he has a faith part that he does one morning during this conference. And he said, if you want to know if it's your dream or God's dream, put a 10x on it, put a 100x on it. Make it so big that you can accomplish it. Really goes right in connection with one of my favorite books, Lion Chaser. Go after dreams that are destined to fail without divine intervention. Man, go after big dreams. Believe that it's possible. So you got to get started. Dream big. Start small. Dream big, start small. It's really the basis for the book I'm in the process of writing. Big dreams, small steps. Big dreams, small steps. Watch this.
But what you may not know is that a domino can knock over another domino, which is about 1.5 times larger. What I have here is a chain of dominoes. Each one is 1.5 times larger than the previous one. And the smallest domino is about 5 millimeters high and 1 millimeter thick. And I will carefully place it. And there are 13 dominoes. The largest domino, it weighs about 100 pounds and is more than 1 meter tall. Ready? Boom. That was 13 dominoes. If I had 29 dominoes, the last domino would be as tall as the Empire State Building.
All right. What do you think about that when you see that? Small steps, right? Yeah. How does this play out for you, for your job, for your career, for your big dreams?
Because you first look at it and you're like, there's no way that little bitty domino is going to knock over to make that domino fall.
It's like this, we start by the number of years it takes to develop. Doesn't matter if it's take the class or what it is. And then find the what they say, what they know that makes it happen.
Yeah, I'm working with a real estate firm right now, and they're in this process of setting, we're already thinking about 25. And what's the goal for the team? What's the individual goal? What's the goals for the team? And thinking about what it takes. And it's all the little things, right? It's all the systems. It's making sure the right people, making sure you're in the right market, getting the training, all those little things. You got to get started. The first domino's got to hit. You got to start small, but dream big, right? You know, no one's going, oh yeah, this will knock over the entire Empire State Building by one little domino. But why do you think so small? Why do you think the little steps that you're doing don't add up? Why do you think people struggle with this? They don't start, okay?
Listen, watching that and watching the reasons. So, the little things easily get distracted by the little things. That you miss out on the example of illustration. Or you started to see why is the big one like that? Why all the whys get distract you from the point.
Yeah.
Here's what you can accomplish.
And he was doing something. He wanted you to understand how big this thing is, right? Did this guy not just epitomize a high school science teacher, like a cool high school science teacher? He's a little nerdy. He understands things. He makes it real for us. And this is such a great illustration for business. You cannot move forward and knock down the big blocks if you're not willing to do the little blocks. Just being consistent. Paul, you got anything for us over there? Any thoughts, comments? All right. Hey, as we're talking, you make sure that you feel free to pop in, help us out. Paul's over there monitoring the chat. If you have something for us, you make sure that you share. Get started. Dream big. Start small, right? It's got to be part of the process. This is part of the start small. I've talked about this a couple different times, different masterminds, and I feel like I need to use it every single mastermind because it's so valuable. The law of time. If you do something for 24 minutes a day, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year, Okay, think about that. Take your 2 weeks of vacation, take your weekends off. 24 minutes a day equals 100 hours a year. 100 hours a year. That's 2.5 40-hour work weeks by 24 minutes a day. That's huge, right? It's the little domino. 24 minutes and 24 minutes and 24 minutes and 24 minutes. And they add up. And then you've gained 2.5 40-hour work weeks. Okay? Watch this, though. If you do something for an hour a week, if you do it for an hour a week, that's 250 hours a year. That's 6 40-hour work weeks. I didn't have it on here. If you do this for 8 years, you actually gain an entire year on somebody. If you do an hour a day on working on a test, 5 days a week, 50 weeks a year for 8 years, you end up a full year ahead of somebody. It's pretty crazy to think about, right? Because you're willing to do the little things that add up and add up and add up. Okay, so you see all this? Ready for the next part? The law of money. This is all still under start small. Anybody want to do that math for us? Okay, that's annoying. She just said if you save $1 a day for an entire year, you have $30,000. I'm sure in real estate you have to deal with money. Does that add up? It does not add up. In no world does that add up, okay? It doesn't even matter how you figure out compounding interest. It doesn't add up. Know your numbers, know your stuff, start small. I just thought it was really ridiculous, so I had to show it. All right. Get started. Dream big. Start small. Expect pain. This is part of the process. To go from where you are to where you can dream to be is going to be painful. Why? Good. Good. Yeah. Growth is what? Lonely? Yeah. Right. We're actually going to talk about that next week when we talk about people. If you desire to be at this level, there are going to be people who try to pull you down. There are going to be people who make fun of you. There are going to be people who ridicule you. There are going to be people who question you. There are going to be people who think you think you're better than me. And then there's going to be a few people who say, man, keep going. I'm in your corner. Keep going. And those are the people you have to surround yourself by, right? So it's going to be painful because not everyone, and not where you want to go, not everyone is willing to go. Good. What else? Why is growth painful? Okay, you got to have to do something different. And everybody loves change, right? So if everybody loves change so much, it means you're going to have to change, which means you're going to have to change who you are. Good. How you function, part of your systems, right? Good. Good.
It's hard to get out when you're so deep in to be able to reach the place where you're spending more time.
Okay. You didn't hear him online. He said the painful part is you have to move from working in your business, in the weeds, doing all the little things, to stepping back and letting someone else be in the weeds and working on the people, on the system, on all the things that actually get you the results. Instead of just being in there fighting. That's tough. It's really tough for doers. And so when we're going to talk about promotion, how do you promote? An important part of promotion is making sure you have people that you're promoting who can think beyond this one little job. It's not that it's a little job. It's that they think through the whole system rather than what their one little cog in the wheel does. Right? It's good. All right. So we're going to talk about this next week. I'm going to tell you right now. The two things that I joke about this all the time. Two things that cost business owners the most amount of money is number one, taxes. Everybody gets that, right? How do you reduce your taxable income? And I'm working on some classes for that coming up. But the other thing is a bad hire. Because a bad hire doesn't stop once you fire them. That weed has been planted. It's been planted within the system, and it's been planted within the community of who you're trying to reach. That bad hire has long-term effects on your business. So making sure that you hire. We're going to really spend a lot of time next week. Growth is always painful. There is no growth without pain. Think about, being 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th grade, and you're going through, your body's changing, and you have all those growth pains. That's part of life. That's part of the process. It's new territory. Meaning what, Roger? Give us a little bit more information there. I always can interpret that, but I don't want to interpret. I want to hear what you have to say. All right, we'll wait for you, Paul. You tell us when. A little bit of that is, I would guess you're talking about uncharted waters. And anytime you go somewhere new, you're always having to figure it out in the process, right? Because you have no systems. You don't even know how to navigate new areas. All right, this is part of pain. Expecting the world to treat you fairly just because you're a good person is like expecting a bull not to charge because you're a vegetarian. I just thought, that's reality, right? I don't think it's funny. That doesn't matter. There's going to be struggle. There's going to be pain. There's going to be problems. There's going to be heartache. There's going to be difficult seasons. There's going to be good seasons. There's going to be hard seasons. There's going to be all those things, but pain is part of the process, right? Okay. And then the last thing I want you to know about the process is that perseverance wins. Always. Perseverance wins. Perseverance wins. It makes a difference. Alex Hormozy, who's read some of his stuff and watched some of his stuff online, I think he started off by owning or living in a gym, to working in a gym, to owning a gym, to owning multiple gyms. And he said, I used to get frustrated when, as he continued to grow and he would open up new gyms in all these different towns, he said, I'd get frustrated when someone would open a gym in one of my towns. Because that's the competition, right? He said, then what I realized is they're going to blitz the market. They're going to get people to go to the gym who haven't been to the gym in years. They're going to get all these signups, but they don't have what it takes to persevere, and they're going to be out of business in 30 months, and I'm going to have all their clients. The market has been difficult. People who are in finance, people who are in real estate, people who are in mortgage lending, all those things, it's been a difficult. Nonprofits are struggling right now. All those things, raising funds, but you got to persevere. You got to keep going. You got to keep fighting. You can't give up. You can't go, I just don't know if I can do this anymore. That's when it takes a little bit more. We start off at the beginning, and you said, I'm 2 years in. And you just start seeing a little bit of grass grow. You've been throwing out all these seeds, and you've been doing all the work, and you've been watering, and you're fertilizing, and you're going, nothing's happening. And all of a sudden, one little blade of grass grows, right? And you go, okay, let's keep going. Let's keep going. Let's keep going. Don't give up. It's difficult. It's going to be difficult. And if you will get your mindset to understand that's part of life, that's part of business, that's part of being a nonprofit, that's part of being new in real estate in a very difficult season, being in construction or being an insurance agent or being in a manufacturing company, All those things are difficult, but the only way to win is to keep going. There's no winning for quitting. You got to get started and you got to keep going. And in the middle, it's going to be difficult. So, what's your thoughts to that? I wanted to kind of lay out. I wanted to give you, as we look at this roadmap from where you're going, from where you are to where you're going. This is the process. This is what it will look like. Next week, we're going to get in the weeds of people and systems. People, then we're going to spend 2 weeks on systems because there's so much there to unpack. All right, so what's your questions, thoughts, comments?
I think for me, it's I agree with what you're saying because something happened with me. I was just discussing with my wife is that there's a gentleman that gave me a referral yesterday. This is a guy. What I think he's a friend of mine, right? And he knew I was in real estate. He knew he commented on my picture when I got my license. He sold his house. Why do you know all that? Built another one. Still didn't use it. Now, two things could have happened. Could have become mad at him and not calling him anymore. Don't say anything about him.
Yep.
But guess what? Every time when he uses house women party, I went. Complimented his house. Thank you for inviting me. I'm glad you still remember me. You know, but from time to time I'll shoot him a text or whatever. And eventually, he just have a friend that's moving down. Guess where he called? From me. So if I had in the middle of my pain,
One to fight and one to
on the fighting, on on Frenium, on my social media, and not letting me and everything else because I'm mad. You're my friend,
Yeah.
You're two different people who do this thing, right? So you know, and I could have used that money back then. But guess what? Because I still stay persistent, calling him, texting him, stay true to social media, he eventually get me some value. But it's fine because
It's good.
I stayed through the pain.
Stayed through the pain. And I have a pastor friend, and he is so like I don't know if I've ever met anybody that's like this. He is so good at honoring people. Everything he's about is how do I show honor? How do I give honor? How do I show honor? How do I show respect? How do I tell how great someone is even when I don't feel like it? Right? When you have that mindset, you stop letting things bother you. You stop thinking, oh, well, if I didn't get this house, well, that means there's no more houses to get. Well, it's not true, right? Because there's always going to be a next. How do you honor? How do you celebrate with other people's wins? And when you can have the mindset that I can celebrate with other people win, doesn't mean I lose. I actually get to celebrate your wins, and it shows a different mentality. And that becomes very attractive to people. The more you can celebrate other people's wins, other people are attracted to you because they want you to celebrate their wins as well. It's good. Paul, you got any comments, questions, anything for us?
Yeah.
Comments, questions? Danny, how have you seen these things play out in life, business, your ministry?
Same. You got to figure out what's the biggest win. And be ready to make adjustments. Don't just have one. Don't just look for one win.
Yeah.
What are the other wins that you may have to adjust in the midst of the situation to go, okay, I thought this was the win, but there's got to be another win in the midst of what seems like a loss.
Yep. John Maxwell says, you win or you learn. It's never a loss. I win or I learn. And so there's some days that are just learns. Because that's all you can say about it. Yeah. But it's a mindset that I'm going to learn through this. And even when I didn't feel like I had to win, I learned something about myself through this process. I learned something about who I am and how other people are. I'm going to be better through it. It's good. So thank you so much for being a part of tonight. Week 2 is done. Hey, thank you for joining us online. Just continue to learn, continue to grow, continue to get better, because better is always better. We'll see you next week for week 3 of Roadmap to Success.